Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news benchmark interest rates are still rising. But American housing starts fell in April from March, and to much lower levels than expected, signalling factors such as rising material and construction labour costs are holding down home building despite solid buyer demand. But that's still almost 11% higher compared to April 2017. Meanwhile, American industrial production increased solidly in April, up 3.5% from the same month a year ago, amid an acceleration in both manufacturing and mining output. But that is lower growth than the 4.5% recorded in April 2017. North Canadian manufacturing rose more than expected in the March quarter, but at a much slower growth pace than the December quarter. And Japan's economy shrank in the first quarter of 2018 for the first time in 2 years, ending the longest stretch of economic growth since the 1980s. The weakness is not expected to last long. There were no surprises in the latest report on EU inflation. It is plodding along at a low 1.2% rate. And in the UK, there are calls to break up the major accounting firms, including KPMG, EY, Deloitte and PwC. They're accused of being inherently unable to perform their roles properly, of being an outside independent challenge to corporate management, unable to identify strategic corporate failings. They've been called a cosy club. In Argentina, their currency and debt crisis has receded a little bit. It has managed to refinance all its $26 billion of peso-denominated securities, known as LABACs, and that are set to expire this week, and it raised another $200 million. Turkey is another emerging economy that is on the ropes. In Australia, wage growth there came in much weaker than expected. Their hourly rate of pay rose 2.6% in the year to March, but only 2.1% of bonuses are excluded. That's the second weakest rise in 20 years. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now at 3.10%, up 2 basis points today. The Chinese 10-year is at 3.72%, that's unchanged, while the New Zealand equivalent is at 2.82%, that's up 5 basis points. And gold is staying low at $1,291 an ounce in New York, that's unchanged today. Oil prices are up again and are now just over $71.50 in the US, and the Brent benchmark is now at just over $79. The Kiwi dollar has recovered some of its weakness yesterday and is now at 69.1 US cents. On the cross rates, we're up almost 1 cent at 92.8 Aussie cents and up half a cent at 58.4 euro cents. That puts the TWI just on 72. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.